Yeah. Let me just check with Charlie, all right? Charlie? Charlie, you up there? Oh, sorry. I'm on, it's live. I could use the mic too, that's okay?
Yeah.
You sure?
A little loud.
Be a little loud. You sure? All right. All right. Brian's not here. Is everything okay?
Sending an email and he'll be right in.
I'm going to try this. If I don't need it, I'll shut it off. All right. Good morning, everybody. How are we doing? Good. It's good to hear you guys talking and networking and making some friends, hopefully. It's really important that you guys get to know each other. Just like I want my staff to have a really close relationship with each other, teachers, parents, so forth. It's really important that parents have that community feel, whether you live in this area or you don't, you're part of PS99, and I want you to walk out of here making some connections, having some phone numbers, and definitely getting together afterwards, okay? So kudos to you for actually being here. Thank you for those that are alive. Just so you know, we are recording this, so if you want to watch it a second and third time because you love it so much, you're welcome to do so. And for those that are at home, thank you for joining us. I do always prefer you to be here. I just like to see people. I like for you to see each other. But obviously life gets in the way, work gets in the way, so we provide the live stream at all times, just so you guys don't miss out, okay? Or if you feel like you missed something, you can always go back and watch it. Live streams are things that I do as the principal. The teachers don't do it, unfortunately. It's not something they're supposed to do. It's not part of their contract. They may do it once in a while if they feel like they do it. Me personally, I just enjoy doing it because I just feel like transparency is king. The more you know, the less questions you have, the less anxiety you have, especially when you're new to the school. As kindergarten kids, you want to know what's going on in the school at all times, and we're just big believers in having great relationships with you and you entrusting us and knowing what's going on as much as possible. Okay, so again, thank you for coming. What we do quickly is just run through this agenda so you have a sense of what we're going to talk about. First, I'm going to introduce you to a few important people that are in the auditorium right now. We'll talk a little bit about September and what we've done so far, what our to-do list is for October, which is already here, believe it or not. Our school mission, which I really want you to know if you don't know, especially our kindergarten and first grade parents. It's important you know what our goal is every single day for the course of 6 years that hopefully your children are here. School community, we are the home of the Stingrays, and we'll talk about what that means exactly. The New York State's test scores from last year, what our priority focus is academically, and what our action plan is to achieve that goal and that focus, and where you come into play as parents. We'll talk about our daily routines, what the teacher's role is, what the responsibilities of the school are, what the responsibilities of you are as a parent, how we work together and accomplish our goals. And then who do you contact if you have a concern, right? What are some protocols that we have that I feel like you need to know to get your questions answered in a timely manner, and you know who to go to no matter what, okay? And then we'll talk about some fundraisers and some fun events for the year, and of course, if you have any questions or concerns, you're welcome to ask them at that particular point. Or if you have a question about something I'm specifically talking about, by all means, please raise your hand. I'd be happy to answer them. So first, let me introduce you to my left and right arms. They are my assistant principals. First, we have Mrs. Ada Trujillo, who's waving right now. Mrs. Trujillo is in charge of the main building. She oversees a lot of the administrative stuff in the main building. She also oversees math and literacy. And then to her left is Mr. Brian Mayer. Mr. Mayer oversees the annex, does a great job over there with the little ones. He also oversees E&L, and he also oversees special education, which is a big department in our school. It's just not just the students, but it's the staff, it's the related service providers, the guidance counselors, the paraprofessionals. Our special ed department has grown tremendously, and Mr. Mayer is a great special ed teacher when he was a teacher here, so he fit very nicely into this role once I became principal. My APs are amazing people. They're amazing educators. They both were teachers. They both were successful teachers. They both were highly effective teachers. They're dedicated to the school. Speaking to them is like speaking to me. You're not going to have a situation where I'm going to make a decision and Mrs. Trujillo and Mr. Mayer are going to be like, no, heck with Mrs. Forza, we're going to do this instead. We're always on the same page. We're always talking. So answers they give you, most of the time, you're going to get from me as well. That's just the way we operate. Also in the back, Lori Hernandez, stand up please. Ms. Hernandez is our parent coordinator. She's a really important person for you to know. Lori's a very hard worker. She does a lot for us. She does a lot for the parents. She takes all your calls. She gets back to you. She'll set up appointments for you if you need to meet with administration or with a teacher. I tell you, 90% of the time she solves all your concerns and all your questions and so forth. She'll come to us. We'll tell her what's going on. She'll go back to you, and 90% of the time parents are satisfied. If not, and she says that they want a meeting, then we set up a meeting and we chat with you in my office. But she's a good go-to person for sure. And then Krista Spataro, please, Krista, raise your hand. She's my personal secretary. If you're involved in this school at all, you're going to know Mrs. Spataro. She's amazing. She does a lot for us, not just me, my APs, the staff. Sometimes the staff thinks she's their personal secretary. They're always calling her and keeping her too busy sometimes, but she's amazing. And of course, the gentleman standing up over there, Mr. Pasqualino. You have to know Charlie. He's the guy behind the operation of this live stream. He does our tech. He helps out with iPads. He helps out with programming. I see him all the time meeting with parents about the iPads and any questions you have tech-wise. So Mr. P is a great person, okay? Ms. Goldberg couldn't be here. Yes, give Charlie a round of applause. He's great. And another person who's not here right now, but Ms. Sarah Goldberg is also a person you should know. She helps out a lot with programming as well, the Nixa accounts and data and stuff. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to Sarah Goldberg, okay? So let's talk about September. We had a great month, I think. All right, nothing's perfect, but I think we came pretty close to it. We welcomed our students back. That was the biggest challenge. I know that sounds easy, but that is not. I'm telling you, if there's one thing that I lose sleep over, it's the first day of school. You always want it to be perfect. You got a lot of children coming in. You have no idea who they are. You have a lot of parents. I don't recognize their faces. Dismissal could always be a little challenging, right? And lunch and so forth. So a lot going on those first 2 days, that Thursday and Friday. We may look like we're calm, but we're like those ducks with the feet under the water that are going crazy. That's us internally. You know, I'm walking around like everything's under control, but we're making sure that, you know, there's no loose ends. It's very, very stressful. So this year was a little more stressful than normal because we welcomed in kindergarten. We welcomed in quite a few new admits. And we also welcomed second and third grade into this building for the first time. Usually it's just third grade. So we had 2 grades in this building for the first time. And then we had the kindergarten, of course, across the street. Plus we had a whole new structure. We have 4 grades in this building, and we only have 2 grades across the street. That is a little different than we realized. You know, there's a lot more students in this building than we normally had, and a lot less students in the annex than we normally have. So arrivals and dismissal in the annex are just fantastic. You know, we have tons of exits, less parents. A lot of those kids go to the after-school program. You know, I go over there, I'm like, it's perfect. And then we come over here, and it's just like, why are there so many people here? You know, doesn't anybody walk home anymore? What's going on? And then it dawned on me, we don't have 6th grade anymore, which were a bunch of walkers, as well as 5th grade and most of 4th grade. Now we have 2nd grade, 3rd grade, a lot of 4th grade are getting picked up, and then of course there's 5th grade. So it's a big difference. And even during fire drills, the annex, we clear that building in like 2 minutes. In this building, I'm standing on the corner and people just keep crossing the street and crossing the street. I'm like, how many kids do we actually have in this building? So it's taking a little longer than we're normally used to. But it's definitely a great thing. I think the first couple of days are very successful. I will give you guys kudos. Your kids are great. We adore your children. I mean that honestly. I'm not saying that to butter you up. They're very well behaved. They follow instructions. Most of the grades are able, like just this morning when we were getting ready for you guys to join us, we had 4th and 5th grade here. You know, 8:30 bell rings. Mr. Trujillo quiets them down. They just walk out on their own, not getting picked up by teachers. They just walk right up like middle school kids, right to their class. They do it in an orderly fashion. Very proud to see. Same thing with 2nd grade and 3rd grade. From the cafeteria, they walk all the way up to their rooms. Nobody fools around. Nobody wanders anywhere. They go where they need to go. We're even doing with 1st grade across the street now. It's only one staircase, but they go right up that big stairs, go right to their room, and kindergarten will be right behind them unless Mr. Mayer is ahead of schedule and already has them doing it. But we love the independence. We want them to know where they are and feel at home. Like I know exactly where I'm going at all times. It's extremely important. So I think we accomplished that. Lunch routines. Lunch routines I think have been going well. Annex is always a challenge because we don't have the big yard, so the whole grade can't go out, so we have to be very creative. So we send a half a grade out a day, the other half a grade stays inside, and we try to entertain them with some dancing videos. Mr. Red does some dancing for us when he's in a good mood, or singing. We do some Go Noodle stuff, or they'll just do arts and crafts and play. We do not want to show any movies. If I ever walk in there and I do see a movie being played, I immediately tell the school aides, we don't do that anymore, that's over, put an end to it immediately. We want the kids socializing, and then, having fun with each other, and even if they're a little bit too playful, where they're maybe borderline a little out of control, that's a learning phase. That's what they're supposed to do, right? And we're supposed to teach them and tell them, no, this is what appropriate play, and this is what's not appropriate play. And they don't know that at 5 and 6 years old, so that's why they have to play. So it could seem like it's loud and they're yelling and they're screaming, but that's what 5 and 6 year olds are supposed to do. It's our job to kind of channel that into a more appropriate type of conversation, more appropriate one-on-one play and so forth. So it's a little tough over there, but it's what we have to do and it's what our job is, and I feel like the annex is going really well. There's only 2 lunch periods there now, which was a great thing. It used to be 3 lunch periods. We used to have kindergarten lunch at 10:45. Now we have just K and 1, so kindergarten eats 11:30 and first grade eats at 12:20. This building, second grade, I'm ecstatic that for the first time they get to enjoy our yard and go out every single day, as well as 3rd grade, 4th grade, and 5th grade. For those that are new and you don't know this, we were K to 6 last year. We truncated 6th grade in order to apply for something called small class funding. We got the small class funding, huge success for our school. It was a huge grant that we put in for. We won it, we got it. Part of that package was 6th grade was no longer going to be here next year because of I've said this a million times, because of the fact that most of our 5th graders were leaving anyway based on middle school choice. So we were going from 120 5th graders to like 60 6th graders. So we felt like with the small class funding being so desirable, it wasn't really worth to keep the 6th graders here. I think it was actually in their best interest to all graduate together and go to middle school together as a grade and start middle school together. Tough decision. Last year was very emotional to lose 5th and 6th grade in 1 year. Great kids, sad to see all 200 children leave our school, but I think it's for the best. They're all in middle school right now. They're all very happy and they're doing their thing. It's good for us because we qualified for the small class, we got it, and then we had to interview for about 11 new teachers, 3 of them special ed and 8 general ed. That was a big process in May and June. We got all the teachers. They're all here. We love them all. They're all doing amazing. Some of them are brand new right out of school, and I'm very, very excited for them in their future and being a part of this community for many, many years to come. But I'm sharing all this with you because this is why it's changing. This is why it's only K and 1 in the annex. So, hold on. Do we have a wire mic? I'll take that. This is why I'm mentioning all these changes, because we used to be 3 through 6 here and K to 2 there. Now it's K1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think it's going really well. We have the small classes, which I'll get into in a bit, for K through 3. And even our 4th grade is not so bad for 4th grade. It's about 25, 26 in a class. So we're in a good place with all that. This went bad?
I touched it. That was my fault.
Here I am giving him all this praise, and he just ruins the...
Fixed it. It's funny, just when you look at this disappears.
Worst case.
You don't know it by heart?
Yeah, worst case, I'll just put the laptop over here. Yeah, let me just put the laptop over here then. Yeah, just let me see it.
I can try and get out of the way.
No, I can see it from here. It's okay. All right, so that's the lunch is going very well, like I said. Dismissal, we talked about dismissal. The PA after school program started, which is a good thing. So that reduces all the kids that are being dismissed in the annex. The main building, not so much. It's more of a younger grade program, unfortunately, but it does help out with dismissal. And busing started too. So we're really in the flow of things right now. It's working, great. We had a welcome back barbecue last Friday, I think it was, right? 700 people, two weeks ago already. We had 700 people come to that event. It was out in the yard. If you guys missed it, definitely keep an eye out for the next one. I know there's only so many tickets we can sell. 700 sounds like a lot, but there's still a lot of people that miss out on the tickets, unfortunately, but we have to be safe. The yard is only so big. There's only so many exits. I can't put my parents and their people in a dangerous situation. So we try to max it out as much as we can, but it was a great event. Thank you to my PA for always doing an amazing job. I love it. I think it's a great way to start the year to see all of you guys, and and break bread as a family. So thank you to the Parent Association. After school's going well, thank you to Mr. Halpern who runs that with Mr. Haluska as well as the staff. We have a program called Teaching Matters. They came from the district. They're going to help us do some professional development for our teachers. She already started. She met with our teachers at the end of September. She's going to focus more on the new hires, the younger teachers that just started out. We conducted, in terms of safety, we conducted 4 evacuation drills already. Technically, we're supposed to do 8 for the entire year, but I like to do 4, 5, or 6 these first couple of months because the weather's beautiful, and I really want to get the children to know what to do in case of a fire or something going on where we have to evacuate this building. They're doing a great job. Like I said, we evacuate the annex probably like in 2 minutes. This building is almost closer to 4 because of more children, but it's going very well. The children are doing a really nice job with that. We did our bus drills for those that are taking bus, and we will be doing what we call a defibrillator drill. That's going to probably happen next week, where we have staff that are trained in using the defibrillator and CPR in case someone is actually choking or someone goes into some sort of cardiac arrest, whether it's a child or an adult. We have people that respond to that. Obviously, we're not first responders, we're not EMS, we're not trained, we're not professionals in that matter, but we do what we have to do to help that person out as much as we possibly can until the professionals show up, okay? So very well-trained staff. We had somewhat of a minor emergency at dismissal on Wednesday with a staff member. We made the announcement, code blue, bring the defibrillator to room, whatever. Staff showed up, everybody's following directions, no one's, contradicting each other. They're all listening to the person in charge, and we're calling families, we're getting people picked up, we're calling 911, and we got the person the help that they needed, and thank goodness they're okay, and they'll be back later today, okay? So again, great first month. We have 9 left. Sounds like a lot, but it's gonna feel like 9 weeks. It's gonna go really, really fast, so it's really important that we stay focused, and that's my message to my staff. Every month counts, every week counts, every day counts. You only have so many days with these children. We want to get them to grow in so many different ways in the 180-something days that we have them, okay? So we have to stay focused. So what do we focus on in terms of October? Next slide. Without breaking it, okay. Right now, our students, your children are being assessed. What does that mean? They're taking tests that they don't study for. We just want to know what they know coming into the school year. And there's a ton of assessments. There's Acadians, there's iReady, there's benchmark assessments, there's beginning of the year math assessments, and so on and so on. They take all these things, we get a sense of where they are, and then we use that to decide where are we going in terms of small group instruction, where are we going in terms of enrichment, what kind of services do they need, what kind of reading level are they, kind of guides us throughout the year. So that's what's going on now. So if your child comes home, especially the little one, and says, I was out in the hall with Miss So-and-so, they're not in trouble, they were doing Acadian's assessment or some sort like that, okay? If they said they were on their laptop taking a test, I don't want you to feel like, what do you mean a test? They didn't study, they're not prepared. There's no way to prepare for these type of things, okay? We will be meeting with the teachers at the end of this month to discuss all the assessments and start planning for the rest of the year. Our plan of action for a small class size. So like I was talking to, we qualify for small class size. So my favorite saying that I tell the teachers that with great power comes great responsibility. So we have a class of 18 kids instead of 28 kids. For last year, first grade had 28, 29, 30 children in class. Right now, first grade has 18, with some of them with 2 teachers because they're ICT settings. So what do we do with that? Do we just continue to do the same routines? We just teach a lesson with 18 kids instead of 30? Or do we really dive in deep into the instruction and say, how do we get to each kid? I used to go to workshops and they would present these things and my staff would be like, well, that's nice, but when we have 30 kids in a class, that's not possible. But now things have become more possible, right? So we're starting to now push the envelope a little bit and push things a little bit. How are we going to get to these children? How are we going to teach? How are we going to create small groups? And then how are we going to give them the individual skills that they need to work on to get better at a more rapid pace? And that's what this is all about. Obviously, the teachers are so happy. They're walking around on cloud 9. They're saying that this is amazing. The kids are just so well behaved. It's just so easy. There's a small group right in front of me. It's 18. I feel like half their class is missing sometimes. They're so used to the big group. But we're working on now really diving in deep to help them, okay? So the assessments will help. Our plan of action with the small class size is underway. And then we're going to have what we call an enrichment period that's going to start in early November. I think that's the backbone of how we really get to each child as well. It's grades 1 through 5 in November. We also have a kindergarten pull-out program starting pretty soon. That's just for kids that we feel like need to recognize the alphabet and sounds and things like that, because we want to get the kindergarten kids reading as soon as possible. So if kindergarten starts to read and some children are still having problems recognizing the alphabet, that's when you start to fall behind at a rapid pace. So we got to get them to know those things, know those skills, and we jump on that right away. Enrichment for grade 1 is more of a guided reading type of thing, where maybe even grade 2, where they get their reading level, and every day they get pulled out for one period, and they have a group of 6 with a teacher, probably a teacher on that grade, and they will read a book at that level. They will discuss it, they will talk about it, they'll have conversation about it, which is extremely important. Sometimes when you go to class and you're reading HMH, that level of reading could be a little above their head. They get a little lost and they don't participate. We want them participating, we want them building confidence, we want them to love to read. And it's hard to love to read when you're giving a novel that you just can't read and understand. But when you start to read something and you understand it and you appreciate it, you're like, this is so much fun. My brain goes into a whole nother world. Now you continue to do it and you continue to get better at it, and eventually you catch up and get to the level that we all want them to get to. So that's the enrichment for grades 1 and 2. 3, 4, and 5 is more of a skill-based program, meaning, do they need help in reading? Do they need help in math? Or if they're a child with an IEP, do they need the speech at that time? Do they need OT at that point? But that's when we look at them individually and try to provide them some support at an individual level. You guys with me so far? Okay? Hope I'm not talking too fast. Again, Teaching Matters will be working with us in October. She already has her schedule with the new hires. We just had our student assemblies like this. We had all the grades in the main building from 2 through 5. I didn't do it with Kane 1. They're too young to really understand what I'm trying to say. But 2 to 5, we talked about our expectations as administration. Obviously, when you're in the classroom, the teachers talk about what they expect. You know, what are the rules of the class, how to go to the bathroom. You know, we sign out the book when you go to the bathroom, what kind of books we use, things like that. But when you're outside the room, what do we expect from you? You know, when you do go to the bathroom, when you're at lunch, during arrivals, during dismissal, what is our philosophy here as a school? Just like I'm going to share the mission with you, I want the kids to know what the school mission is too. It's really important. So we had a great conversation with them. Obviously, 4th and 5th is a little more deeper because a little older, especially 5th grade. I think I had a really good heart-to-heart with 5th grade in terms of what we expect of them. You know, they're our oldest, they're graduating, we got a lot of wonderful activities coming up. And these activities are not owed to them, they're earned. And they're earned through good choices and good behavior, just like life. You know, I make a bad choice, it's usually a bad result. If I make a good choice, usually leads to a good result. And this is what we're ultimately trying to teach them. So I thought the assemblies went really well. We did that last Tuesday and Wednesday before the holiday. We have the Spooktacular, another great event for our PA. It's going to be on October 24th, a Friday night. And the golf outing, October 13th. We'll talk more about that at the end, but please, if you haven't come registered for that, we'd love to see you there, even if just for lunch only. If you don't play golf, you can come for the lunch. But we'll talk about that later, okay? All right, our budget. All classes have a teacher. That's a first win right there. We have all our paraprofessionals. We have all our school aides. We have 3 secretaries, and we have some money for what we call per diem and per session. Per diem is for subs. When someone's absent, we call somebody, they fill that spot. It's important to have money for that. Otherwise, you have to get creative in how you cover a class. So right now, our budget in terms of what we get funded for staff is in a pretty good place. Per session is when people work after school or before school for programs. We're already talking about doing a program for our E&L students in the morning to try to give them extra support. That's per session money. We pay them per hour to work. We do have some money there, so we're off to a decent start, although it won't last the whole year. But as the year goes on, we find ways to get more money from the city and support these programs throughout the year. So I think we're off to a good start, especially with a small class. Where it says RACL concern, R-A-C-L, that means that we get budgeted for a certain amount of students, and then it comes down to actually how many students you have. And unfortunately, there isn't a price per child. The more students you have, the more money you get. The less students you have, the less money you get. That's just the way it works. We were projected to have 720 students. Right now, we have about 700. So when you have less, the concern is that the city is going to say, we gave you too much money, you need to give back. And the last few years, they haven't been holding schools accountable for that. I'm hoping they don't do that again because of the small class funding. I don't see how they can ask for hundreds of thousands of back, because if I start excessing teachers and consolidating classes, the numbers go up, and it goes against the whole small class size funding. So the reason why I share this with you is because money is constantly a fight. If I had to tell you one of my biggest aggravations and my biggest responsibility here is for fighting for money. I'm always fighting for money. I'm always applying for money. I'm always trying to get grants. I'm always doing fundraisers, because if you don't have the money, your school struggles big time. I met with a principal, not that I met, there's a principal I talked to a lot of principals meetings, and he came over to me and he was like, we're just asking, how's your school year going? And he's like, it's not a good start. And I was like, well, what's going on? What happened? And he's sharing with me that he was awarded 6 teachers for small class size funding. He hired them, and then right before the school year started, he only got 2. They had to pull back 4. So first off, he's promising people small classes. He's promising jobs to these people. And then right before the school year starts, he loses 4 teachers. So he's got to tell these 4 people that he promised a job to, you no longer have a job here. And he's got to tell parents that thought they were getting 20 in the class, they're getting back to 32, as well as the staff that work there. So in my head, well, I said to him verbally, in my head, it's like, you cannot accept that. You have to fight back. And that is what I'm talking about. You could either say, well, who am I going to fight to? It is what it is, and a lot of principals do that. Or you could be a thorn in people's side and maybe not be liked very much by certain people that I'll probably never meet, and nor do I care to meet, but we fight for money all the time, all the time. Right. We have situations like, I don't know if I have it up here, the $125,000 grant. That came when I was an assistant principal. We had a politician, and I won't say his name, but we had a politician who came to school and said, what do you need, Mrs. Foglio? And she said, we need smart boards. So he's like, I'll give you $125,000. And we were like, yay, we're getting $125,000. We praised this person. We had them at graduations. We recognized them. 7 years later, I still haven't spent $1 of that money. Now, if I just ignored it, it would be gone. But I haven't ignored it. I fought this person and the state and the city year after year to say, where is this money that was dedicated to PS 99? And the long story short, we have the money. There's still a pain in the neck. They still tell us you gotta change this and change that. But I guarantee you, we will get this money and we will spend it on technology. It's a fight all the time. We have money for a STEM lab every single month. What's going on with the STEM lab? I'm calling Councilwoman Shulman. Can you please help us? And she says, yes, I'll start aggravating people. But if you don't say anything, this money somehow trickles out and goes somewhere else, and we will not benefit from it. And that's the whole fight about budget, and that's what I want you to understand. It's just not something that comes to us. It's something you have to speak up for, you have to fight for, and continue to push. Otherwise, we're just another school. We're a school with 30 kids in a class, and that's that. For us to be special, unfortunately, you need these type of fundings, okay? All right, our mission. So during your 6 years here, we try to develop a well-rounded child by encouraging all students to, these are the 6 bullets that I really want you to know, okay? And I'll send this home to you guys, but if you want to take a picture, you're welcome to do so. First off, develop a love of reading. Like I said before, we want to meet the children where they are and get them to really appreciate the importance of being a reader, right? We teach them to read, so then they can eventually read to learn, right? It's extremely important. Experience writing in all genres. We have 4 main genres that we focus on throughout the year. I know writing is not so relevant right now, right? Because we got ChatGPT can write everything for us, and autocorrect takes care of everything. Now it's I send text, I don't even know if it's English. I'm like, what did I just text this person? But everybody's cool with it, everybody understands. We voice the text now, so I know writing is not as important, but it is important. We still have to teach it. Develop the ability to solve real-world math problems. We don't want to just teach this basic facts of multiplication and adding, but understanding a problem, comprehending what the problem is asking us, and then solving it is extremely important for these children to do throughout their lives. Develop the use of technology, which I think speaks for itself. Technology is just flying, and we have to try and keep up and keep these kids abreast of it. I know we don't want them on screens too much, but also we don't want them falling behind in where the world is going. So it's a delicate balance. Experience the arts in a variety of ways, whether it's performing arts with Mrs. DeAndrea or it's visual arts with Mrs. Fallon or Miss Rubino, but we want to get them as much art as possible. And choose healthy habits that will last a lifetime. Health, physical fitness, the importance of being involved in something, extremely important. And the last one, the last sentence there, which I find most important, is understand the responsibilities and privileges of living in the United States and appreciate our diverse global community. I mean, look around, guys. Look at our auditorium here. We're as diverse as you're going to get, right? Everybody gets along, kids are working hard, everybody's making friends, and we are the definition of what it is to have the importance of having a diverse community and how it works, right? So I love it, I'm very proud of it, it's what we want to teach our children, it's what I want you to teach your kids, and obviously if somebody slips out and doesn't do what they're supposed to do, we obviously address it and we get them back on track. But I think it's an important part. So this is basically what our focus is, and we want a well-rounded child by the time they're done. Yes, we want them great in academics. That's extremely important. It's important that they know how to read and how to do math, but it's also important they know how to speak and how to listen and how to communicate and how to behave and how to make friends and how to deal with conflict. I can't stress to you how important that is. You'd know as adults. I know many people, and you probably do too, that were very successful academically, but struggle as an adult because they just can't hold a job, they just can't get along with people, they're arguing all the time. And then I know people that were terrible in school, they struggled, but somehow they are flourishing as adults. Why? Because they could be charming, they have a great character, people like them, or they know who they are personally and they focus their life on this one passionate thing that they have and they made something for themselves. It's both equally important. And this is what I told the students too. I told them I want you to thrive academically, but how you behave and how you act and how you treat others and how you listen and how you deal with conflict, extremely, extremely important. I mean, I gave them this example. I'm embarrassed to even say it, but I'm going to tell you because this is what we deal with. The last fire drill, and I use this example with the kids because the kids sometimes say, well, what if someone says this to you? What are you supposed to do? So I use this example. I said, well, I'll tell you what just happened to me 2 days ago. I was doing a fire drill. I'm standing on the street, blocking traffic. The kids are coming back, and they're coming back so nicely, and I'm just waiting and waiting, and there was cars behind me. And this one guy rolls his window down and starts yelling at me that I'm being inconsiderate by not letting the cars go, and I should hold the kids before him. So I tried to ignore it. I may have said something a little smart, but I tried to ignore it, and I just said, we're in the middle of a fire drill here. Give me 2 more minutes. And he kept going, and then he started using inappropriate words towards me in front of the children. Now, I had 2 choices there. I could just be the principal and professional person I can and ignore him, or I could have turned around and entertained that conversation at the same level, and it probably would have been on TikTok somewhere where principal's in a fist fight at the corner. Lose-lose situation. I win the fight, I lose my job, right? So I have to learn how to deal with that terrible, terrible situation. And that's what the children have to learn how to do at the age of 7 and 8. Obviously, that's not going to happen to them on a corner somewhere, but they have to learn, and not everybody's going to be so nice, and what's the better way to respond, right? And we try to teach them that as well. So the well-rounded kid, come in, make friends. If someone doesn't have a friend, be that person's friend. If someone's bullying somebody, stick up and defend them against that bully. But it's important that you learn how to socialize properly, and that's why lunch is so important. That's why we want them outside and playing and doing their thing. When they get into a fight, don't freak out. It's part of growing up. I mean, most of you probably got into some sort of fight when you were growing up. Most of you probably got into some verbal, probably some of you did it last week, where you're arguing with somebody. It happens with kids. It's our job to teach them, educate them. These are children problems. They're not adult problems. So you as mom and dad do not have to come in and defend your child. They have to learn to defend themselves. Now it's different obviously when they're in the street and they're by themselves, and as a dad, of course I'm going to protect my kid. But when they're in school and it's a conflict, they have to learn how to handle that conflict. Now if it gets carried away and it's a bullying situation and their self-esteem is going down and they're physically in danger, well, that's a different story. You come in, you talk to us, and we put a plan together to put a stop to it. But addressing people outside and things like that, we don't want you to do. Let the school, let the kids figure this out, okay? So the well-rounded individual goes a long, long way, guys. And I want you to remember that as you're raising your wonderful children. This kind of goes into what I was just talking about. I want us all of us, to take pride in who we are here. This is PS 99. You chose to be here. We chose to work here. We have to make a great environment for our children. We want them to be super successful in every way that I just said as a well-rounded kid. So we have to bond together as families and as school to come together and make it work, right? Everybody's responsible for your children's success. Everybody. Us as administration starts with us. My teachers need to come to work every day, physically and mentally, give their best effort. Your children have to come to school every day and give their best effort. They're responsible. They are. How they act is their responsibility. How they perform is their responsibility. The effort they give us every single day is their responsibility, and that's on them. My teachers can give the best lesson, but if your child doesn't want to engage, that's on them. And that's part of this success. And then it comes to you guys as parents. How are you helping the school? How are you helping your child? Are you part of this mission? Are we pushing in the same direction, or are we in conflict and battle? That's never a good thing. All right, so we have to make sure we're a united front. We take pride in who we are. We have a mascot, we have a name, we are the Stingrays, we have a basketball team, we have a soccer team, we have cheerleaders, you know, it's important to us. It's important for the school camaraderie. Last year, for those who came, we won the basketball championship. It wasn't about the trophy, it was about the camaraderie. We had all those parents there cheering our kids on and watching them win at Queens College. Great night for the community, right? Back to school barbecue, Spooktacular, Winterfest, Worldfest, great moments for the community. Let's all just remember that as we go through this venture. It's not easy, guys. I'm a parent of 4. It's not easy, but it's important that you're there, and it's important that you're connected with the school, especially at the elementary level. It's super important, okay? Thanks, Brian. Okay, our state exams from last year. Okay, great news. Last year, our literacy scores shot up tremendously. We went from 65.6 to 73.2. Super, super excited, yeah. The math scores went down 2.5, but I'll explain why I'm not upset by that. First of all, we were at 81. When I started here with Mrs. Trujillo, Mr. Mayor, we were at 67. So last year we went to 81. Last year, if you look at literacy, we were at 65.6. You can see the big difference. And if you were here last year, you remember me saying that I want to go all in on literacy. If I have to sacrifice math a little bit, we will do it, but we're going to just teach math, but all intervention is going to be about literacy. During the school, mornings, afternoons, February breaks, whatever it is. So the results are in, and our literacy shot up. Math came down a little bit, but I'm not worried. It's like I told the teachers, it's like the stock market. If you buy a stock at 50 and that's at 100 and then it goes to 98, you shouldn't be complaining. You made a lot of money. So we're up. We went down a little bit in math, but we're going to go back to now both subjects of intervention, and I'm most confident we'll be back in the 80s. I really want literacy to continue to rise, though. It's very important. It goes hand in hand. The better readers they are, the better mathematicians they will become, okay? So kudos to the parents, kudos to the teachers, all the support staff. I thought last year was a very successful year in terms of our goal, okay? So what's our goal this year? Yes, clap it up, everybody. So this year, with small class sizes, and being that we're at 73.5 in literacy and 78 point something in math, our focus is going to be a little different. Last year, our focus was all about literacy. This year, it's going to be all about differentiated instruction. What does that mean? We're going to try to get to every single kid, especially for grades K to 3. We have the small classes, we're going to have the interventions, we're going to have the enrichment program. We're basically going to try and build teacher capacity and utilizing differentiated strategies to enhance the reading proficiency of all students, ensuring they meet or exceed grade level expectations by the end of the school year. And that's going to apply to math as well, okay? Teachers will have skills folders. They will be looking at each kid individually. How you doing, Lincoln? It's one of my friends. It's going to be a very exciting year for us. I'm looking forward to where this all plays out, and we will keep you posted throughout. This is just our goal right now, but the next coffee with the principal, we're going to tell you where we are, okay? And this is kind of our action plan. We're going to focus on data when it comes to instruction. We're going to have targeted interventions that I mentioned to you, small group instruction, differentiated instruction, enrichment period. We're going to have a lot of professional development for our teachers on differentiated instruction, how to look at data, how to develop lessons based on that data, okay? It's so important. Not only what you're teaching, but how you're breaking the groups up and how you're dividing them and trying to get to each kid. Some of these kids can flourish on their own. That is what you want, right? Let them flourish on their own and challenge them on their own and check in on them. Some of them need that reteach moment. Grab them together, let's do some reteach. Some of them may be a language barrier. What interventions are we putting in place to help those with the language? What translation devices, things like that, okay? Parental involvement is important. Lexia and daily reading assignments, that's on you guys. Literacy-rich environment will continue. Progress monitoring, from unit tests to module tests, all assessments we have. We're a team effort approach, so all hands on deck here. That means you guys as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that when it comes to parent responsibility. I do want to continue with the DEAR time. That's the end of the day, 15 minutes. We want the kids to read a book quietly and enjoy just something called pleasure reading. A reading of their choice, whatever book they want. It could be a magazine, as long as everything's appropriate, but something they want to read, end the day off in that in silence, read, get lost in a book, and then dismiss with that book in their hand. That's what we're looking for, okay? It just creates that mindset of the importance of reading, okay? And that's it. Mindset is, let's take advantage of this opportunity. You don't know if this is going to last forever. A couple of years from now, they may say, like, we can't handle this small class. You don't know. If we lose it, it's a lost opportunity. So we have these small classes. It's probably going to be great for you and your children for your years here at PS 99. Let's take advantage of it. You're in a really, really unique place. I guarantee you, go look at private schools. I don't think you're going to see less than 18 kids in a class in a private school that you're paying a lot of money for. So it's a really nice situation. We have great teachers, and we have very, very good class numbers here, okay? Our daily routines and our school responsibility. So we have 8 to 8:30, extremely important. I call it breakfast time, but it's also socialization time. It's a great time. If you can get your kids here by 8 o'clock, I really encourage that you do so. Instruction starts at 8:30, but 8 o'clock is where the door is open. That's when the kids go to the cafeteria, or they come to the auditorium and they talk. They eat breakfast if they want, they don't have to, and they talk to their friends. I think that's extremely important. I told them that in the auditorium when I spoke to them, is try to get here by 8 o'clock. It's important that you talk to your friends, you socialize, then you walk upstairs together as a group, you talk on the way upstairs, and then when you get to class, it's time for work and you're ready to learn. I want to just show you the two different scenarios, and I understand the challenges of the morning. Like I said, I'm a father of 4, and I've been there, and some of you travel to get here. But think of a morning where your child gets up, gets ready, gets here by 8 o'clock, has conversation with their friends, laughs, jokes around, talks about sports, about the Yankees, the Mets, or whatever, and then walks upstairs, unpacks together, settles in together, and is ready for literacy first period. That's one way. And then the other way is they miss the breakfast, they miss the morning socialization, and they walk in at 8:40. It's not the same feel, right? First of all, they're late, right? And it's on their record that they're late. And second of all, they're missing all that interaction that I'm sure they want to be a part of. So again, not judging, like things happen in the morning, but I just want you to understand they should be here on time. It's not daycare, it's school, it's job, it's work. We have to be here on time, they have to be here on time. So we're working towards it. If you're struggling today, that's fine, but we're working towards it tomorrow and the next day and the next day. I can't stress that enough. It's really important for the kids. And then of course that's their day. From 8:30 to 2:30, we got 2 to 3 periods of literacy and guided reading, 1 to 2 periods of math, depending on the lesson. There's a writing and social studies unit in there 2 or 3 times a week. Sometimes they're combined with Ms. McGrail. Enrichment, AIS, SEL program. We have a cluster period, which is science, STEM, visual arts, performing arts, phys ed, could be social studies through writing. We have 9 cluster positions this year. We got that because of the small class size funding, which is great. The challenge was giving everybody at least 1 period of that. And I think we accomplished that. But there's some sacrifices here and there, so we have to be creative in terms of how we make up the minutes of lost activity. But I think we figured that out. And then we have lunch and yard time. That's our social laboratory. Snack time, social play. We got rid of snack time with kindergarten because they don't eat at 10:40 anymore, but we do give them social play. That's just for kindergarten only. I should have removed that, sorry. Dismissal, we start with DEAR time at 2:20, and then at 2:30 and 2:40 is when the kids get dismissed to you. And that pretty much wraps up our day unless they're in the PA after school program. Okay, so that's what the school is focusing on throughout the hours that they're here. They're here for 7 hours and they get a lot in 7 hours, okay? In terms of parent responsibility, super important. Again, if you want to take a picture of this, although I will send it to you guys. Attendance, we talked about that. I won't beat you over the head with that, but please get them here on time and make sure they're here. So think about what I just showed you in the previous slide. All the education they're getting from 8:30 to 2:30. Now imagine if they're absent 30 times, right? And that happens. Mrs. Trujillo handles our attendance team. So many times. You want to say something? Or not? okay? If you didn't hear her, she was saying if your child is going to be absent, go on Dojo, look out for Miss Williams, and just let her know why your child's going to be out, so we don't have to call you. It's a safety thing. We want to make sure that every child's accounted for. So if your child's out, you'll get a call, but we also want to make sure that they're okay, all right? Be accessible. Dojo, number one. Have Dojo, connect to your teacher, make sure you're connecting to everybody, make sure you're looking at it, you're paying attention to it. The other thing is blue emergency cards. Please make sure you hand that in. Believe it or not, of 700 kids, I'm missing 32 emergency cards. I can't understand how we're a month into the school year and I don't have an emergency card filled out. I need to have your phone numbers, I need to have your emails, we need to be able to get in touch with you in case of emergency. So if you're one of those 30, please make sure before you leave you fill that out, okay? Support your child's teacher. The big question is, how can I help at home? That's what I want you, that's the conversation I want you to have with your child's teacher, of course. Get to know them and see how you can support them. Lexia is really important. So Lexia's data has been going up a lot, and our literacy has been going up a lot. So there's a good connection there. So we bought into Lexia again, but Lexia is supposed to be done at home. To me, it's the ideal homework. It works on what your child needs for literacy, a specific skill. So when they get home, they have a certain amount of units to do. It's not necessarily time, it's units. Make sure they're working on it. If they don't, the teacher has to pick up the slack in school, and that takes away from instruction. So that's your number one priority for homework. Be aware of your child's assessments. That's a great parent-teacher conversation back in November. Find out what the assessments are, where your children lacking in, what are they strong in, how can you help at home, any suggestions, talk to the professionals and they will guide you, okay? Take your child outside. Take your child outside. Parks, museums, get them involved in activities, sports. Like I said, well-rounded child. Don't hammer them more with academics. You saw what they do here from 8:30 to 2:30. They do a lot academically. Now, of course, they have to do their homework, but get them involved in some other activities, especially on the weekends. Dedicate time each day for family. That's really important. Make sure they're reading. Reduce the screen time and the social media, especially when they get older. Get them off TikTok and all that nonsense. I'm telling you guys, it's really a bad thing. You can see their change of character the more they're on that screen. They just start to talk less. They start to interact with you less, and they're just attracted to that phone. And then it becomes like, Nick, you listening to me? And they give you an attitude because you're interrupting their scrolling and their screen time. It just happens. So the less screen time at the earlier age, the better, okay? Almost done, guys. Help provide a safe environment for us for dismissal and entering the building. I just want to spend the 30 seconds on that. Please do not double park. Please do not park illegally. I mean, I don't mind if you're blocking a bus stop because you're not blocking traffic, but don't park on the sidewalk. Don't double park on Kew Gardens Road. Don't block 83rd Avenue. Big no-nos. It causes a lot of traffic. As I shared with you with the fire drill, where that guy was yelling at me for a fire drill, a lot of people that don't go to school here, that drive into the neighborhood, they don't care about safety. They just care about beating that red light, and they do foolish things if traffic is not moving. So the more flow, the better for us. We're having a crossing guard issue. The reason why we have a crossing guard issue is because they can't handle this corner. The corner drives them crazy. People yell at them. People don't listen. Even parents sometimes aren't crossing the street properly. I see them cutting through the streets or parking illegally or blocking the crosswalk. They end up quitting or going somewhere else. So right now we're down a crossing guard. Again, I've been fighting with the 102nd and they're going to send us somebody. But do your part to create that safe environment. When you come to the school, ring the bell, enter in an appropriate manner, tell security you're here, sign in, wait patiently. No one is to just go through the doors. I don't care if you're upset. I don't care if something happened at dismissal. We stay calm. Remember, we're in a professional building with children. We don't put on a show and start getting into this verbal confrontation with the staff member. Unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. If my staff did it, I'd be furious at them. So same with parents. Conduct yourself in a professional manner. Come on in. Why are you here? I'd like to speak to somebody. Sign in, wait patiently, and we will come and we will meet you and address your concern. I promise you that. But when you come in guns blazing and you're upset and you're talking, my first reaction is you are getting out. You're leaving. I don't know who you are. I don't know why you're acting this way. But go on out, calm yourself down, and come back in. Because my priority at that moment is not you. My priority is the safety of the 700 children that you've given me responsibility for. So I don't care how much you're yelling. I don't care how much you're cursing. My priority is you're leaving. And it's been happening a little bit too much. So I want to be clear. let's remember where we are. We're in a school, we have children here. Your concern is extremely important to us. Come on in, sign in, and I promise you we will help you guys out, okay? Keep the safe environment. Be in touch with the parents. Extremely important. The class chat is really great. I love it, through the dojo. And make some friends, like I said, guys. You know, walk out of here setting up some play dates, making friends with some people in your child's class. Get involved with the wonderful PA. I point to Arena and Jen. They're our co-presidents. They're amazing. The whole exec board's amazing. Get involved. Do what? Kelly. Oh, Miss Kelly. Sorry. Yeah, get involved. They step up. There's dozens of members now on the exec board. So many volunteers. They're wonderful. So if you want to get involved in the school, start with them. How can I help? How can I help with these great events that you guys are doing? And just be there for them and be there for the kids, all right? And most importantly, guys, get to know us. You know, we're nice people. Mr. Mayor is okay. Ada is okay. You know, we're good people. We're here to help you. We're here to do great things for your children. I mean that honestly, right? We enjoy what we do. It's work. There's stresses. What the stresses is being a parent too. It doesn't mean you don't enjoy being a parent, you don't enjoy and love your kids. It's part of life, but like I always tell people, everything great always comes through hard work, right? Raising a great child is not easy, but it's the best feeling in the world when you accomplish that. So keep that in mind throughout the year, okay? Who to contact when you need help? Questions about classwork or homework? Use the chat feature on Dojo. I see all your questions and everybody answering questions makes me very proud. Keep doing that, okay? Questions about an incident in class or a personal assessment, reach out to the particular teacher that's involved in that. Same thing with a concern about a teacher or staff member. Maybe reach out to them first. If your child says, Mr. So-and-so yelled at me, or Miss So-and-so said this to me, stay calm, call the teacher, say, my son said this, or my daughter said this, can we have a quick conversation? It doesn't have to be confrontational. See their side of the story first. If you don't like what you hear and you have concerns, obviously you go to Mrs. Hernandez or you go to administration, and we'd be happy to help. But going right to the principal because something happened, sometimes it's not always the way it's said to you. I have to stop what I'm doing. My APs have to look into things. I think it's only right if an adult has an opportunity to talk to you. Okay, again, my staff is here to help you. They're not here to hurt anybody. So keep that in mind before we go to administration. The last thing, fundraisers for the year. So our first ever golf outing is going to take place next Monday the 13th. Not next Monday, the Monday after. Not this Monday coming up, the one after that, October 13th. So golf, if you play golf, please book a foursome. It's a lot of fun. It's $185 per golfer. It includes lunch. It includes a light breakfast. It even includes a meal at the 9th hole when you play the 9th and you come back to the finish. It's about a 4-hour event on Monday. There's no school that day. It's going to be a really beautiful. I'm looking at the weather already. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful morning. Come on out, have some fun. If you don't play golf, that's fine. For $85, you can come just for the lunch. So you arrive around 11:30, you go to the course, you go and you have a delicious buffet lunch, open bar, not that anybody drinks around here. But it's going to be a nice opportunity for the staff and the families and guests to really enjoy themselves and have a good time. There's going to be raffles there, there's going to be live auctions there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So come on down. It's at Clearview Golf Course in Bayside. Keep it free. Keep it in mind. It's on Dojo. Register. Click on the link. Please register and support the school. It's going to be a great event for us if we sell it out in terms of fundraising. I want to bring back the St. John's basketball game. I'm already in touch with Samantha Koo at St. John's, so we're going to book a date where our basketball team gets to play at halftime on the court at St. John's or at Madison Square Garden. And of course, we're going to sell a bunch of tickets and go cheer on St. John's and have a good time as a community. And things like St. John's and the Mets, we get $5 per ticket back. So it's not only a great event and the kids have great experiences, but we also make some money on it as a school. So it's a wonderful event. I'll give you those dates once we book it. The Met game is great for those that are new. We had about 50, 60 selected students do a lottery, sing the national anthem on the field. And the other children and adults and all the guests that bought tickets got to stand on the warning track while the kids were singing. It's really cool. You get to see the players close up, warming up. It's really, really nice. And then we enjoy the rest of the game on a beautiful night. So, and it's at Citi Field. Again, great event for us, great community building. And we just partnered with NYCFC, which is the New York City Soccer Club, professional soccer club. Same type of thing. They're saying our soccer team can walk on the field with the professional players. I don't know if you've ever seen a game where they hold hands with the professionals and they go there and they sing the national anthem and they stand in front of them. That's another great experience. Some of these players are world-class players from Europe, or playing, and they come to MLS to finish out their career in some way. For example, Lionel Messi is one of them. He plays for Miami. He's one of the most famous soccer players of all time. Imagine him walking on the field with one of your children. Great experience. Also a fundraiser, right? And these are the fundraisers that we're trying to do. We're trying to build community, create memorable moments that you and your children remember forever, like playing on Madison Square Garden court. I mean, that's just a great experience for these children, right? And on top of that, we're trying to raise a few dollars. So keep these dates in mind. Remember that it helps. Every once in a while, we throw a bake sale in there by popular demand. Ms. Trujillo usually runs that with Ms. Krista and Lori and everybody. And ice cream sales help us. I know ice cream is not the most healthiest thing. I like to work out, I like fitness, I eat ice cream. It's okay. I'm not going to kill you once in a while. Every day, no, but once in a while, give a kid a Friday treat. They love it, they buy it. We tried healthy snacks, nobody bought it. We were buying the healthy chips. They were like, get that out of here. Where's the ice cream? So it helps. It helps. Everything helps. And in the end, at the next coffee with the principal, I'm going to talk about where this money goes, all right? Why it's important, how we spend it, but I assure you, these fundraisers, they're the easy money to spend in the sense that I don't have to go through contracted vendors that it cost more. So if Mr. P's like, we need this for technology, we go on the DOE shop list and it's so expensive. And then I go to like another basic site and he just buys it and I'm like, okay, great, much cheaper. I write him a check from the funds and it's taken care of. If we need furniture, we go on for furniture for our conference room. We're looking to redo our conference room downstairs or create a conference room downstairs. We look at tables, they're $1,500, $2,000, $2,500 per table. You go on a site like Wayfair, they're $500 a table, like totally different, right? So these fundraisers allow us to do things and give back to the school at some way, whether it's helping the school itself, whether it's helping the staff, or whether it's helping the kids. They get things like, it could be a device, it could be something related to technology, it could be rugs in the room. I've had teachers say, I don't have a carpet, should I buy it? I'm like, no, we'll buy it for you. You're the class, we're responsible for that, not you. And these are things that we want to give back, right? Bookshelves. You'd be surprised at some of the things that these teachers didn't have when we did this moving of small class. Some of these rooms were bare. Like 207 is beautiful right now. That room was a computer lab for years. We got rid of all those old computers and it was just one disgusting old room. We had to get furniture for her room, and we did that through fundraising, okay? So it's important. This is your way of helping out the school, but in a fun way. Okay, guys? Any questions for me? I think that's it. Sure.
The Google Classroom, I did register and everything. I'm not sure if I did the right thing or not, but I haven't received anything yet, so.
Who's the teacher?
Yeah.
Halpern and Saracen. Okay. It's Google Classroom, you said, right? Are you on Dojo?
No, it's a Google Classroom.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
yes,
saying
I am in
message
Dojo as well.
the
Okay.
teachers on Dojo and ask to make sure that you're all good, okay?
Thank you very
No
much.
problem.
Is Lexia for fifth grade too?
Yes. Yep. Kindergarten, I don't think Lexia's kindergarten, right? Not yet? No. No, too young for that. Yes. What? What is Lexia? Lexia is an online, the question for those at home, what is Lexia? Lexia is an online reading program that works on their specific skills. So they'll get an assessment first. Once that assessment is done, the program will pick up what they're strong in and what they're weak in, and it'll create a unit path for them, and the units are based mainly on their weaknesses. Depending on how many deficiencies they have, that's the amount of units they get assigned, and then they have to work on that per week. Okay, so really important, and it's all done online, so they just need a device, an iPad, or a laptop of some sort. I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Say. Ask your child's teacher that. There should be a sign-in sheet, right? Go ahead, Charlie. Yeah, perfect. Yes. Yeah, so two parts to that question. Number one, I'm not a big fan in giving too much homework at home for reasons that I said. I want you to work on the other areas of family time, socialization, getting them involved in activities. Literacy and math is the core of what the teachers teach in the classroom. Science gets taught mostly by Mr. Haluska and Mr. Cucky. Social studies gets taught mostly by Ms. McGrail now. So they sometimes could assign homework on their own. Yeah. It's okay. For Mr. Cucky? Yes. Yes. Yeah, if there's like lack of homework from a particular teacher, you could ask them directly. But I'm a little hesitant to assign too much because I hear from the other side that my kids have too much homework and they're up until 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night, and that's not healthy at this age. That's something they're going to be doing when they're in high school and middle school. I'm not saying homework is not important. It's their opportunity to perform in front of you as to what they learn. But too much, I feel like, is not good either. Like, I want them to have that opportunity. So we always say math and literacy are the core, as well as Lexia, things like that, okay? And we want it purposeful and meaningful for your child. So sometimes just doing, 20 math problems is irrelevant. If they understand it, they understand it. I'd rather them do something else, okay? Yes. Come a little closer. I can't hear you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, thank you for asking. I'm sorry I didn't mention that. That is part of our safety. She was referring to safety and some of the tragedies that we've been hearing going on in other schools. So yes, we do evacuation drills, we do the defibrillator, like I said. Lockdown drills is something that we do. We do it 4 times a year minimum, sometimes even 5 or 6. We're actually due to do our first one probably next week. We're supposed to have our first one done by October 31st, but I give the kids about a month to settle in, then we'll do our first one, then we'll do another one in December, and so on. So basically what happens during these drills is we pretend that there's an intruder in the building, and how do the teachers respond at that particular point. Everybody goes into some form of classroom, lights shut off, doors are locked, and the kids basically hide in a corner. Obviously, the age that they're in, it's explained to them a little differently. So in kindergarten, they feel like we're playing hide and seek. Mr. Sforza is coming to find us, let's be quiet, and then make sure he doesn't find us. And they think it's a fun game, and they all do a great job. The annex is easy because they have the big rooms and less kids. This building's a little more creative because the rooms are smaller, especially in the upper grades. They're bigger bodies, more children. But the teachers are really good at shutting those lights, getting the doors locked, and hiding in a corner where an intruder can't find them. We also talk about like barricading the doors, things like that, okay? So we take that very seriously as well. We now have the locked doors, which is great. People have to ring the bell and be buzzed in, which I love. That wasn't always the case. And we're constantly talking about these things during safety meetings every single month, okay? You're welcome. Watch your step. Yes. Oh, yes. The announcement is different, absolutely. A fire drill is the alarm just goes off and we leave. When it's something like a lockdown of some sort or intruder in the building, I make an announcement saying we're going into a soft lockdown, basically, or a hard lockdown. If it's a shelter in, where there's something outside that we're concerned about and we don't want anybody leaving the building, then an announcement is made that we are in a shelter in, which basically means we're doing business as usual, but no one is allowed to leave the building at all. No staff, nothing, okay? So we have different announcements and different drills and different situations, yeah. Good question. Anybody else? Yeah. Yes, sir. I blame Lori Hernandez for that. No, I'm kidding. The school bus has has been a pain. It doesn't work under the school. I don't hire the company, I don't hire the bus drivers. They're their own domain. So when parents register for this, we explain to them that doesn't always follow the schedule, as you say. Some companies are better than others. What we can do, what we always do is your concern, we share, right? Tell me if I'm wrong, Ms. Hernandez. We share with the bus company. We've had bus drivers that show up, miss stops, or don't show up on time, or don't show up at all. We make complaints to the bus company, and it's in their hands at that particular point. All I can say to the parents, and I'm sorry, this is my only answer to you, is first of all, if there's a concern, let us know. We will share that. Or you can call the bus company directly and share your concern. And if you're really unhappy with it, then the other alternative is you just have to bring your child to school on your own. It's annoying, I know, but it's something that's beyond my domain. Like I can't discipline them. I can't fire them. I can't scold them. We just do we make sure we get the kids on the right bus and that they go home. We created the bus chats, so you guys talk that the bus came here at 7:45, the bus came here at 7:50, so parents know. That's important, you know. So it's important. Is there a bus chat going on this year, Lori? Have you seen? I've been seeing. Yeah. That's important because in the mornings I've seen people say the bus just got here 7:04, so then people kind of get a sense of when the rest of the times are going to come. All right. We're doing our best to work with that, but I wish I had a better answer for you. I'm sorry. Yes.
Just a random question. There's no more junior high school. It's called middle school now.
You can call it whatever you want.
Okay. No, I want to use the correct terminology.
Yeah, I think middle school is the popular term now. Yeah, not junior high school. So it's most schools are K through 5 in the city, most, and then you have 7 and 8, and then you have 9, 10, 11, 12 for high school. Some schools have 7 through 12 all in one building. Depends on the school. Okay.
So they're still officially called JHS.
Yeah, JHS. So there you go.
Some are MS and some are JHS.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I had a question about homework that you mentioned. One of my kids had, or I have two kids that go here. One here. I can talk.
It's a little louder. I can't hear.
One of my kids got assigned last week. They had 2 days off. They got assigned a regular amount of homework, and we had a trip planned. They went away. They had a great time, and then we got texts or class dojos about not completing Lexia minutes before Friday even happened. We got, and my son's in 2nd grade in special ed, and that's a special education class as well.
Yeah.
And that he didn't complete his homework on time too. Has there been? I know you mentioned about the homework issue and not assigning as much to his experience.
Yeah.
You know, the months that he just moved in.
Yeah.
Has that been communicated to all the teachers?
It has. I have a faculty conference coming up on Monday, and I'll reiterate that again. You know, it's a delicate balance. You know, I don't want to send a message out that homework's not important, because I think it is. But I'm also trying to keep the mind of a parent as well as a school administrator that homework is important to some degree, and then the kids have to be involved in family time and vacations and activities. So on Monday, we'll talk to my APs, and I'm going to address the staff on a few things, and that'll be one of it, just to make sure we're monitoring the amount of homework we're giving. And feel free to just keep me posted, okay? All right. Yes, ma'am.
Quick question. My daughter is in kindergarten and she's in the annex and she goes to after school. Today I won't be able to send her to after school. I did send a message to a teacher in Class Dojo.
Okay.
Do I need to let anybody else know that she will not be going after school?
The teacher's fine. Yeah, class teacher's fine. She's talking about after school. If you want to, whether it's after school or picking up someone else picking up your child, always message the teacher on Dojo. It's important. Okay, it's in writing. They have it. I don't have to call you at that point. We have it in writing. Okay. Yeah.
To your question too, obviously let the teacher know, whether it's not going after school, not going on the bus, we get that a lot too. I don't want my child to go on the bus today. If you send that message at 2 o'clock, 2:15, the teacher's not checking their dojo at that time, and it's possible, they're not gonna get that message in time. So if that is a concern you have, if you don't want your child to go to after school that day or on the bus that day, make sure you send that message first thing in the morning, so they have an opportunity throughout the day to check it when they have time to check it. And also, maybe thing too, which I didn't see the presentation, but lunch times and dismissal times. We do not allow parents to pick up their child during the lunchtime or after 2 o'clock, 2:15 especially. The reason why is because 2:15 we start because we can't have kids walking through the building while there's 50 kids going after school and 25 kids going to the bus. It's just very confusing. We don't want the kids to get on the wrong line accidentally, stuff like that. And it's the same thing for the lunch period. If your child has lunch period 5, for example, 11:30, 12:15, and you show up at 11:45, I want to pick up my child, and they're in the cafeteria, now we're in a situation where the teacher might not necessarily know that they are leaving early. We don't know, we want to make sure everybody's safe and everybody knows where all the kids are at all times. So just to make you guys aware, and for anybody that's home, hopefully you can hear me, if you hear that message, please just understand why. It's not that we're trying to make life difficult for you. I know there are emergencies. If that's the case, talk to us and we'll try to work it out. But 9 times out of 10, we're just going to ask you to wait until the period's over so we can ensure the kids safe.
Okay. Any other questions, guys? Yes, sir.
I was going to wait for the December one, but last year there was a kind of an incident, not an incident, but a problem with what happens when the kids cannot go outside. And can they sit with a book? Can they talk to their friends? I just want to make sure that this time, when they're in the auditorium or the gym or wherever,
Yeah.
that they're allowed some kind of socialization.
Absolutely.
And or reading. You're not allowed to read. You're not allowed to do anything.
Yeah, no, 1,000%. So unfortunately, we don't have access to the gym during the lunch periods. We did that last year for 2 of the grades in this building. But they come to the auditorium and they are allowed to talk. They're allowed to sit with their friends. If they want to read, they're welcome to read as well. It's their time, as long as they're acting, appropriately and doing the right thing and following our school rules. But yes, the only time we ask the kids to quiet down when it comes to lunch is when they're transitioning from the cafeteria to here, or from here to the cafeteria, or outside. That's the only time. And the reason why I do that is for 2 things. We just want their attention. There's school going on, but also it's a good test to get the cafeteria's attention in case of an emergency. We want to make sure we blow the whistle, kids stop and listen. Otherwise, if there's a real emergency, it's going to be chaos. So, but yes, good question. Yeah, we definitely want them talking. Okay.
I have a question about assessment. My child is taking special education also. So the assessment for the special kids and the other are same, or is it different?
No, for the most part, they're the same. Yes, yes. It depends. I'm not sure what class your child is in. 213. Okay, so they may do it, but it might be done a little different with some modifications.
Yeah, because at the homework he got at home, the math problems are a little higher than what he understands right now.
Yeah.
Subtracting and adding. So
There should be modifications for that particular class and your particular child, right? To make sure that they can be more successful. That's where, so the teacher has to teach the curriculum for kindergarten, but it has to be modified into a way where they could be pretty successful at it, okay? Again, like any struggles, please share with Miss Bondi, She's great, she's great. She'll get back to you, okay? You sure? You guys good? Guys, thank you very much. Let's have a good year, all right? Have a good weekend. I'll see you at the golf outing, and we'll see you in December again for the next one, okay? Grab some refreshments on the way out if you want. Have a good one, all right? Good to see you, man. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for coming. I appreciate it, yeah.